Welcome back to the Upper Tier Podcast, the football podcast that we bring you each and every day nearly at this stage, brought to you by the Dynamo Podcast Network. And tonight, this is your FA Cup review and a look at the quarter-final draw. And tonight, I'm joined by Craig, Dean, who I presume is a Liverpool fan, and Anthony on here representing the Devils, the Red Devils. And we're going to deep dive into this draw as well that just happened. But first, lads, I suppose we should get some of the admin out of the way. We are on YouTube, on the Dynamo Podcast Network. So head over there and smash that subscribe button. Continue to support Irish podcasting and stay in out of that weather at the moment. It's really cold at the moment. And when it's really cold, there's nothing better than a hot cup of tea or coffee. So we have these new exclusive upper tier podcast mugs. Now available, the link is in the description, now available on buymeacoffee.com/the upper tier. And if you don't fancy buying a mug, you can always drop us a nil donation to help pay for equipment and stuff going forward. We have these guys. We also have a Dynamo podcast one as well. Very snazzy. So head over there if you fancy treating yourself to a mug during these cold times for your hot chocolate, coffee or tea. But now on to the show. So lads, talk to me. Craig, talk to me about, or Anthony, I should say, talk to me about Manchester United versus West Ham. You called it the other night, really, didn't you?
Yeah, almost, just about. What a drip of a match, though. There was nothing from West Ham. You know what I mean? Nothing from them. I was lying here nearly falling asleep watching the match. I was like, oh, God, just be over. You know what I mean? Just get this thing out of the way. And then, like, I wouldn't have even minded if we went out, because then at least we can probably challenge for the title, you know what I mean? But my God, extra time. I think there was 2 or 3 of us that called it. Extra time, you know what I mean? Yeah. What an absolute drip!
I was looking at the match and I was quite excited about it. And then as the match played out, I said, "Geez, the lads who were on the Monday mashup got it spot on. They called it that it was going to be a real kind of nightmare thing to watch."
Yeah. It was one of them where you kind of knew, like I was saying on Monday, West Ham were in a bit of form, but it was nearly always set in stone that they were going to be like they were. They kind of set themselves up to not go forward, so they weren't caught in the attack and be absolutely slaughtered. So they set themselves up perfectly where that didn't happen. I think just couldn't break them down.
Yeah, the loss of Mikel Antonio didn't help either. I mean, he's really the talisman up front, you know. And I suppose when United are relying on McTominay to deliver the goods, you know, it's a real kind of weird match anyway.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But here, McTominay is he's come out of a shell this year. He's having a really good season.
It's great to see, though. It's great to see.
Donny van de Beek getting ripped off again.
Donny, I feel so sorry for that.
Ripped off again. Very unhappy.
40 million, and he's no one passes the ball to him. Like, no one even looks at him.
It's he's so like strange, though. You know, United playing 2 CDMs. I don't know how it feels for you, Anthony, but you know, United lining up with 2 CDMs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. Even I'm not sure who. I think it was a guy called Darren. I think said that they'll start Matic, which will slow the game down anyway, and that's what happened. There was nothing. There was no creativity going forward. There was nothing.
Yeah. West Ham didn't look like they had anything in them really. Anyway, sure
no.
Like it was a kind
they're
of
like Spurs. They're like Spurs without Kane. Like Barcelona without Messi. They're nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So then, go ahead.
Surely he can. The only way, like, I rated Van der Beek last year, but I did say there a few weeks back, it's like Chelsea. Let's buy who other players want for the sake of buying them, so they're not in their teams and making them better. The only way Van der Beek is gonna settle in that squad is with a run of games. They can't. But they can't keep turning to Fernandes. I know Fernandes is a world-class player, but it's every single game. Let's bring him on. He needs a rest. He's going to be burnt out. But like Van der Beek is a class player, and if you give him a run of games, he'll settle into that team. With good players, you find the place for them. Simple as.
Yeah, like that. Like I was saying about Kane not being in the Spurs squad or Antonio not being in the West Ham squad. Man United are turning into that team. If Fernandes isn't the starting 11, we're hopeless. Headless chickens.
Van de Beek has like such a technical ability anyway, and you know it's
Yeah.
crazy not to use it. Like, you know, it's like
Yeah.
negative. You
I
know?
think he's just afraid. I think he's afraid to, if he play, because Van de Beek plays in Fernandez's position. I think he's afraid to pull Fernandez back to put Van de Beek in, because Van de Beek sitting behind Fernandez has no impact in the game. I think he literally he only shows up like as the flair player in the attack. Whereas if Fernandez sits back, he has no impact in the game whatsoever. So he needs to come up with a solution very quickly for that, because if he doesn't, I can see Van de Beek wanting out in the summer.
Yeah, 40 million down the blade in Swansea.
I was gonna touch on that. If there was ever a transfer request incoming this summer, that looks like it's one of them, isn't it? The other thing I look at as well is I'm thinking even if Fernandez got injured, I still think Ollie would find a way not to play Van de Beek. It's just like he hasn't taken to him, and he just doesn't want him there. And I know
McTominay, Fred, and Matic probably are something.
Yeah, but
he would start McTominay. Yeah,
like I mean, it was Van der Sar who pushed them towards the club and really put the transfer in. You know what I mean, to make it happen. You know what I mean. So I wonder did Ollie really want him in the first place. There's no doubt in the man's ability. He is a top baller, but he's just, as you said, Dean, he needs a run of games.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, so then we looked then the following night, Man City, last night then, coasted by Swansea. I know it was 3-1, but in reality it was like, you know, again, they
no contest.
Not really. Leicester and Sheffield United, you know, made a meal of it against Brighton and Bristol, but got through in the end.
Leicester didn't have a shot on target for an hour. A whole hour.
Shows without Vardy, doesn't it? Like Ian actually that kind of, you know what I mean?
I say that they're saving themselves now for Saturday against us, because they'll have free run in that attack on Saturday.
Fuck's sake.
But then I suppose the match of the round had to be last night, and I think we called it on the Monday match. Everton Tottenham was just outstanding. It made up for all the other games. Really.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was watching it here last night as the goals were going in, and I had Graham messaging me, and I had Con messaging me, and they were both messaging back and forward independently of each other, going, I have him now for next Monday and all this. And Con was saying, can't wait to be on next Monday, give it to Graham again, you know, and it was all on a knife edge, you know. So, but yeah, it was good. It was good.
That's what you want from the FA Cup, isn't it? Though, just no one, like, you know, sitting back, just let's go for it. Whatever happens.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a
45 shots on goal. Like.
But then again, you say about Van de Beek, Gareth Bale didn't even get into the squad.
Yeah, you know hold on.
Does it surprise you though?
No, not with Jose.
Yeah.
Before we go any further, can we spend a few minutes talking about Gareth Bale? What a fucking fraud.
Yeah.
You can't. Fair enough, right? Zidane fucked you over. You're getting about 400 grand after tax to play golf in the sun all year round. But like going back to your beloved club and not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
Like Mourinho, fair play. You can see it's on the tip of Mourinho's tongue to come out and say he can fuck off back to Madrid.
It was more of a Levy move, I think, to keep the Spurs fans happy, you know, get someone in. Oh, look, we got Bale back or something like that.
But with the Bale situation, if the fans are in the stadium, like bring them back, the fans go bananas. Bringing them back with no fans, it's a PR stunt.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
You know, I guarantee you now, if the fans were in the ground, they'd be as disgruntled as Mourinho is with him, because he doesn't give a shit.
He's laughing on the bench. He
100%.
Smiling and, you know.
100%.
He's probably worked out at about 2 million a minute so far, or something like that.
Yeah,
something crazy. Like, it's just, and you'd wonder is his heart still in it? You know what I mean? Because obviously the things at Real Madrid are so sour, but you can see Jose Mourinho didn't want any part of that situation. You can see it in him. Like, he's just like he was questioned about it last night post match interview, and he literally, you know, he threw Bale under the bus again without even having to throw him under the bus. He basically said,
I'm sure Bale's aware of it.
He trained yesterday and he was grand, and tonight he didn't fancy it. It was just
rightly so.
No?
Rightly so, he throws him under the bus. Because I'd say Mourinho's looking at that situation and saying, right, I didn't even want you here, but you're coming in, right? If I play you and you play out of this world, Spurs haven't got the money to buy him. So his next little venture to me was, if he went to United, or if he went back to Spurs and was the Gareth Bale that he was before he went to Madrid, or the first couple of years in Madrid, he was going to United. Now, he should have been looking at that move. He wants to come back to England as a shop window opportunity, like Pogba. Right, if I do well here, Spurs haven't got the money. I don't think Spurs have the money to buy him. But if him going to United was the talk all along. But I tell you, if Ole buys him in the summer, he's fucking nuts.
No, it's gonna be like a Sanchez all over again, or worse.
100%.
The thing about it now is, I mean, he's probably affordable now because his value must have dropped greatly at this stage. I mean,
100%.
He couldn't justify a huge transfer fee now. And even looking at his wages, surely to got that wages has to come down by at least 50% to make him anyway feasible into a team. Because, like, even for a superstar that he is, I mean, he's not even that marketable. You know, I mean, it's not like if you sign Paul Pogba, you know you're going to sell a gazillion shirts and, you know, sponsorship and all that kind of thing.
He's more marketable for like comedy and, you know, fans kind of having to laugh about his situation. It's not like, you know.
I tell you what, Gareth Bale's marketable for. Fucking golf clubs.
Get
him onto a fucking. Who makes his boots? Adidas, is it, or Nike?
Might be Callaway.
I think it's Adidas.
Adidas. Like, I tell you, Nike should be looking at getting him onto a boot sponsorship because they could do an ad with him and Tiger Woods. Share your wife. Share your clubs.
he's probably winning more on the golf course than he is in football anyway.
I'd say he does be in training with the bin now. Remember the yoke on Soccer AM to chip the ball into the bin? Yeah. Lads, fuck football training out with
yeah. Three out of three type of thing, yeah.
Driving around with the caddy on the training ground.
I was listening to some Spurs fans today, and they weren't happy at all. They really seen the FA Cup as a good chance this season to land a trophy. But again, we did say, I mean, going to Everton at Goodison is, you know, a real tough task for most teams. You know what I mean? Then this evening, we're looking at Wolves after crashing out against Southampton. Southampton after bouncing back 2-0. Danny Ings and Armstrong, I think, got the second one laid on.
Surprised. I was about Wolves. They look very, very, you know, indifferent, especially without Jimenez.
Well, it was
shocked at the system with Jimenez.
Yeah, but it was interesting as well tonight because they decided to rest players, Wolves, and then they suddenly brought them on. Which is kind of weird.
It's like Man United, isn't it, with Fernandes?
Yeah, it's just a weird one because you would have thought this would be a big trophy push for Wolves as well. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, are they going to make top 4 or top 6? Probably not.
I think with Wolves, they're in a bit of trouble. They will stay up, but they're so inconsistent this year. I'd say he was looking at tonight and saying, right, if we can get a win and get a little cup run going, brilliant. If we get knocked out, the focus is trying to get as high as we can up the table because they haven't been great this year. The loss of Jimenez is a massive loss. Yeah. Wolves losing Jimenez is like us losing Van Dijk. Let's be real, because he was the go-to guy.
Yeah. And now they have to head down to St. Mary's on Sunday, as far as I know, and play the Saints in the league. Which
I just don't know, where's the goal track on it really come from, really? You know, they got Jose.
I'm surprised. I don't know who this fella is that they brought in from. Is he Portuguese as well?
Is it the lad from the young lad?
I wouldn't be surprised if Ronaldo finishes his career there, because nearly 3/4 of the Portuguese national team is playing for Wolves at the moment.
And they have their third kit is similar to the Portugal national jersey as well, isn't it?
The wine looking thing. Yeah.
I'm really surprised though that they didn't go for. I'm surprised Liverpool kept Origi, but I'm surprised more so that Wolves didn't take him on loan, because, like, as much as I don't rate Origi, if he plays in a run of games, he probably will score a few goals for them. And they don't seem to have your man Fabio Silva. He looks a bit light. He looks like Minamino was when at Liverpool.
He looks like Jose from Sociedad. He doesn't even know the league or the system, or, you know, it's a bit of a dangerous move, especially in January. You know.
Speaking of Minamino, anyone see his goal the weekend?
Screamer.
Yeah, we could have done with it, all right, yeah. But then currently at the moment, Barnsley are playing Chelsea. 0-0 at the moment, but I don't expect that to continue. I mean, no disservice to Barnsley or anything, but
I have it on here. Barnsley have had the best chance so far. Tammy Abraham's thrown himself around in the ground here like it's fucking whack-a-mole.
Just now he's on the floor.
So I suppose we should assume, let's assume for the purposes of this podcast, that Chelsea are probably going to get through.
Yeah.
So then looking towards the draw that just happened, we had Everton versus Man City. What a plum draw that is. At Goodison.
Cracking match.
Absolute cracking draw. You know, both teams pushing hard for the FA Cup. Pep obviously really likes winning these trophies as well, these cup competitions. And Everton, you know, with Ancelotti there going all out as well after coming through a tough tie against Tottenham. Not too sure what way that one will go. That could be another potentially tight one as well, especially with City are going to be back into the midst of European football as well. I wonder where their focus will be, you know.
It's not even that. Like City won't sit back. Like Spurs knew, like as we said there about Spurs would have been, Marino would have been looking at that as if City take the eye off the ball with Europe and all, we could be in with a little chance of winning the FA Cup here. City won't sit back against Everton. That's the thing. And Everton, your man Alan or whatever his name is, should be back for that game. So like, he's a big plus in the middle for Everton. If they can go toe to toe with City in the middle of the park, like Calvert-Lewin, as much as I hate them fucking toffees, Calvert-Lewin's been on fire this year. Richarlison's been on fire. And James Rodriguez, when he turns up, he's really turning up. So, come here, like, out of the 9 teams, because this Chelsea and Barnsley game is still on. Out of the 9 teams, you're going to say the favourites are City, but, like, Everton turn up like they did last night. Could see extra time in penalties in that one.
You have Doucouré and Allen in there, too, very physical. Which you need to kind of, for City, you need a good midfield to match up with.
With that game, I suppose in every game that City play, you want someone like Doucouré or Allen, like just fucking upend the likes of Phil Foden, upend them.
Let them know,
if you give them the freedom anywhere on the pitch, they just take the piss out of you. It's embarrassing for teams at the time. Like Liverpool went at them. We were in the game until Alisson feel sorry for them, the 2 mistakes and all. But like teams sit back and it's like, you just have the ball there, and like if you want to score about 8 goals there, like, do you know what I mean? It's pathetic. It really annoys me. As much as good as City are, some teams don't even try. Like, it's we're gonna lose here today. Damage limitations. Just sit back and look whatever.
Hope it's not a cricket score.
Fucking hate that.
So then the next tie, then we're looking at Bournemouth versus Southampton, which could be a potential banana skin, I would think. Not easy place to go either down to Bournemouth.
No.
You know, for Southampton, but they are back on. You know, they're back to winning ways again now, and we're having Danny Ings back. That's a huge plus because you know he's on fire this season, really prior to going out injured. So that should be that will be a more of a tactical, interesting tie that we see in the 4 ties, really. Leicester versus United at the King Power. Again, Anto, what you thinking of that?
It's tough, isn't it? Because Leicester are they're second or third in the league.
Yeah.
They're third, I think, behind us. They probably have a better chance of going through in the FA Cup and finishing higher in the league than Man United do. You know, if you have Vardy on form again, it's tight again. It could be again like West Ham. Could be a West Ham repeat, like.
And again, you'll be back in the Europa League there as well, won't you?
Back in the Europa, back on Thursday nights. Yeah,
so there's a lot
best place to be.
Yeah, a lot of a lot of distractions, let's say.
Yeah, that's why on Monday I was thinking that the love of the FA Cup is gone, because if you have matches that are in the way of pushing for a league or your possible Europa League or Champions League, then you have these Mickey Mouse matches getting in the way. You know what I mean? Like the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup.
Yeah, Thursday, Sunday's an absolutely horrible thing, isn't it?
Yeah, like you'd love a run in all of them. Like we were all saying, love a run in all of them. But when there are distractions, you know what I mean? But it'll be a tight match again against Leicester in the King Power. No easy place to go to.
I suppose the only thing to say as well is, I mean, Solskjaer is probably under pressure at this stage to deliver a trophy, I would imagine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know, I won't say even if it's an FA Cup, but he has to try and get over that semi-final voodoo that he has at the moment, if you like, and try and deliver something. You know, even if he falls over the line into an FA Cup or a Europa League, he needs something. You know what I mean?
Could be his only chance to.
The Jurgen Klopp Jurgen Klopp Cup final view there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Come here. I was talking with my little brother's a Man United fan, and he's like, "We're guaranteed top four." And I'm like, "Have you actually looked at the table and how many games are left?" Like that United, well, same as Liverpool. Like, I think City are past that little blip now. I wouldn't, if City went the rest of the season unbeaten, I actually wouldn't be surprised. But any team can go to any team. Like, all it takes is a couple of bad results. All the pundits start getting on Solskjaer's shoulders again, and you have ex-players coming out and all. Like, they could easily crumble. It could happen to any team in the league.
Everton have their sides, I'm sure.
They really can't take their eye off the ball. And just with you on United and Leicester, it's a tough place to go to. But Leicester coming to Old Trafford, I know the game is in Leicester's ground, but whether they're going home or away, Leicester, look what they did to City at the start of the season. They wiped the floor with them. They're a really, really good side. Rodgers, let's not talk about what he did with Liverpool and how close we were to winning the league. I still blame him and not Gerrard. But like, when they turn up, like your man Tielemans in the middle of the park, he's an absolute baller. He can just dictate the play for 90 minutes. So I'm actually looking forward to that game more than I'm looking forward to Everton and City. More so for the fact that if Leicester do turn up, they'll wipe the floor with United.
Well, it's possible. It's possible.
Yeah, I suppose the funny thing is United fans, depending on how they're going in the Europa League and in the league, probably won't be too upset because United, if City do get distracted and did happen to drop a few results, United could be bang slapping the title race again. You know what I mean? You just never know. You know what I mean with this season? Yeah. It's just crazy. So the final tie then came out. It's Barnsley or Chelsea versus Sheffield United. Wouldn't this be class? And no slide on Chelsea or Chelsea fans if it ended up being Barnsley versus Sheffield United. Just, because that'd be like Barnsley would probably fancy themselves at home to get through to the semis, which would be a wonderful story for them. Not dissimilar to Bournemouth, you know what I mean? But like it'd be just crazy. I don't see it happening now, but I just think, ultimately I think Chelsea will go through there, and I think Chelsea at the bridge be way too much for Sheffield United, to be honest.
Yeah.
What about Sheffield? Imagine Sheffield United done in Wigan, won the FA Cup, beat City in the FA Cup final, and got down with the lowest total points in the Premier League ever,
and still win a cup.
Ryan Brewster's only goal he scores for Sheffield United this season is the last minute against City in the FA Cup final, and then they get relegated.
And then they're playing AC Milan next year in the Europa League or something like that. Something crazy like that. You know what I mean?
Remember Birmingham?
Yeah.
Was it Birmingham?
Yeah. Birmingham as well.
Remember Fulham got to the
Europa.
The UEFA Cup. Yeah, that was class.
Crazy.
I think didn't Liverpool get knocked down in the semi-final? It would have been Liverpool got to the final. It would have been a Fulham and Liverpool final, I think.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm gonna pin you on it now. You just have to, Craig. You start with you. Let's pick a winner. Who are you thinking at this stage?
I'm gonna go. I think I fully agree with Dean there. I think City is the outright favourite, but I'm actually gonna throw Everton in for a shout as the dark horse. I think with Ancelotti, they won't be rolled over as easily as other teams either, and they've a very good chance of winning the cup when they, as he rightfully said, when Alan is back as well. I don't think they'll respect City as much as other teams did, sit back and just kind of wait. I think they'll give them a tough game. And if they beat City, you beat City, I think you can beat anybody anyway. You know what I mean? I don't think they fear anyone else in the rest of the little 8. Is it 8 teams left?
Yeah,
8. Yeah.
I think if they got through City, I strongly think they could do it. Yeah, I think that would be me dark horse.
Call yourself a fucking Liverpool fan back in Everton to win the FA Cup. Shame on you.
we never get past the 5th round. So
Anto, talk to me. Are you pinning your colours to the mast, or what are you thinking?
No, I'm not. No. I'm looking over. I wrote down the fixtures around just to have a look, just to be double sure of what I was talking about. I'm going to. Yeah, I'm gonna do it, Craig, and I'm gonna say City. City, okay. Yeah. I think they're too strong. You know what I mean? They're on a 9 or 10 game unbeaten run. You know what I mean? I think even with their third backup team, they could still win it.
Still win the league.
They still win the league. Yeah. So City for me all the way. Unfortunately, yeah.
Dean. Are you going with Brendan? Are you going with Brendan, or what are you doing?
Why did you say that? You must have sensed it in my eyes, did you?
I heard you talking about Tillemans earlier, and I just sensed it.
Great character.
I'm gonna throw a spanner in the works. I think if Leicester play to their capabilities, I think they'll beat United. I do think the whole relying on Bruno Fernandes thing is going to run out sooner rather than later. I'm going to go with Leicester. I'm going to go with Leicester to win it, yeah.
I think I fancy Barnsley.
Yeah, they're actually looking all right, to be fair, in this one.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to pull a curveball here. I did fancy Everton the other night on the mashup, but now looking at the draw, do you know what? I think Tuchel has a good chance with Chelsea. I think he could do it. I think I'm going to...
It's a bold shout now. It's a bold shout.
I'm doing that now as the mockers because Barnsley's going to beat them 2-1 in the So, but no, I think Tuchel only after coming in, I think he's going to get the boys fired up. I think very quickly, they may or may not be out of the top 4 race, and I think their focus will be on delivering a trophy. That's what I think, and I think I don't see them progressing heavily in the Champions League. So I think that will be a struggle for them. So I think maybe Chelsea for the FA Cup. That's what I'm thinking at the moment. So 4 different picks anyway, pretty good. Like, you know,
yeah.
But the main one being the Liverpool fan picking Everton.
It's not by heart I'm picking them, trust me.
Then sometimes you have to go with the betting odds. You can't go with your heart.
That's it. I know it is the magic of the FA Cup. It's a once-off. There's no replays anymore. You have to go for it now. Do you know what I mean? You can't go right. It's last 15, 20 minutes. Throw on the defender, shore up. It's a one-off game now. The way they played last night, I know they were a bit sloppy at the back and all, but there's some very, very good goals in that game. Anyone could win it, but if they did beat City in the next round, and they played like last night, they could easily go on and win the FA Cup. But yeah, I'm glad I'm glad myself and yourself went with someone other than Everton. Noel.
Don't worry.
I just feel like, as you said, in a one-off game, and who can really hurt City as well. Yeah. You know, the way Everton would set up, and Ancelotti will set them up properly. I don't think he'll set them up with all due respect and play in front of them. You know, have the ball all they want. I think they can
Leicester and City final would be nice, wouldn't it?
That'd be crack. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah,
wouldn't it, Ando?
Yeah.
Well, just to get a bit of admin out of the way, we are the Upper Tier Podcast, brought to you by the Dynamo Podcast Network on YouTube. So head over there and subscribe, smash like, share, bell notification, all that good stuff. We're also on Anchor through Spotify and Podbean and all those other audio channels, if you prefer the audio one for your exercise routines. And also, just to let you know, as we said earlier, buymeacoffee.com/the upper tier for if you want some of these fantastic exclusive mugs now. We also will be bringing on other merchandise such as t-shirts, hoodies, hats, beanies, all that kind of good stuff in the future. No doubt, keep an eye out for that. So for myself and the boys, thanks for coming on and we doing this FA Cup review, and we shall talk again soon.